I think, well, not I think, I know it's never too late to go to school.
Slightly strange question, if I may, to kick us off. If you were to describe Oxford using any three words of your choice, what words do you think you'd use?
Historical, prestigious, and can I cheat and say beautifully challenging?
Traditional, beautiful, and changes you. It's transformational.
And you have a career already, so you've chosen to come to Oxford as a part-time mature student. Do you mind just telling us a little bit more about that, please?
I have an undergrad degree, obviously, and have worked in an industry for 15 years and had been thinking a lot about what would be the next thing, how do I advance my career, what do I want to do to, to just continue learning. I've really always been interested in a continual learning throughout my career, and that's definitely been an interest. But then it was sort of the next thing would be to do a master's.
What was the start of the journey? At what point did you decide, actually, I think I might want to return to university, I might want to get back on that train?
It happened a few years ago. I think I'd been out of studying for quite a long time, and I was missing it really, and I felt I needed to develop some skills.
Oh, the first step was actually sort of taking the plunge to imagine that I could apply to a school like Oxford, looking at the criteria. I mean, once I found the program, looking at the criteria and sort of sort of first thinking like there was no way that I would be able to to ever kind of get into a program such at an institution such as Oxford. And I will say the program was actually very open, and there was an individual who said, send your CV, your resume, and we'll let you know, if you're interested, how you would apply, if to answer any questions that we may have had. And so I did that, and because I was initially concerned that I didn't sort of meet the criteria, or I didn't have the experience that the program was looking for, or my undergrad grades from all those years ago wouldn't quite make it. And the individual I spoke to said, answered all of my questions, and also said, no, absolutely, like you should apply. You're the exact kind of candidate we're looking for.
Most of the students at Oxford are, if this isn't too indiscreet, a bit younger than you. So how have you found that relating to quite a slightly younger sort of demographic?
That's been fine. The students at Oxford have been very receptive to me and to other people who might be the same age as me, and it's very, very easy to fit in. The cohort is very diverse. People at Oxford are very open-minded.
So I'll definitely be honest and say I was worried about coming into this program and finding myself one of the older individuals in the program, and thinking, that would be great. And yes, you can learn, but I wanted to sort of experience a range of perspectives and learn from a range of individuals. And I was really worried about being the older person in the classroom. But what was really fascinating was this particular program. And I think in some of the programs, when they're masters and they're part-time programs, that you do attract a wider range of participants, because especially because it's a program that is meant to be for individuals who do have working experience, and that you're bringing that working experience very intentionally to the programs.
As a mature part-time student, do you have a college affiliation, and how does that work out?
Yes, yeah. So that's I do through the master's program. I'm with Jesus College. I knew nothing about that sort of setup. I guess it's not a setup in terms of the college affiliation, and how that works through Oxford isn't something that I was familiar from my undergrad experience here in Canada. And so I had to kind of read into what does this mean, and how does this work, and what am I doing, and what, and sort of, and so you apply to a college, and so you apply to your program rather, sorry, for the master's, and then this sort of sub application was, well, if if you're interested in taking into the program, then you get to sort of apply to a college. And that was quite the experience that I didn't really understand and had to sort of find out more about. And so I was very pleased to be accepted into Jesus College.
I try personally to attend as many of the college events as I can. So I went up to a Domus meal the other day. My view is the more you put into it, the more you'll get out of it, and it'll become a richer experience.
If I may ask, what is your least favourite thing about Oxford?
That it's a 7-hour plane ride away from my home. It's expensive, but I don't know if that should make it into the final cut, but that's definitely, it's expensive. But it's worth it.
Is there anything you would say to someone who was in a similar position to you, who might be applying? What sort of words of encouragement might you give, for example?
I think that I had some doubts when I was applying whether it was a good idea, but I've really got so much out of it. I'd definitely do it again, and I would encourage other people to apply and not to be put off by self-imposed barriers that you think you won't fit in, or you'll be too old, or anything like that. I would do it anyway and take a bit of a chance, and I think you might be surprised how much you'll get out of it and how positive that experience will be.
I would say for sure, if you don't think that you meet the criteria, you should apply anyways. I mean, that's for sure what taking a bit of a leap and challenging yourself and stretching yourself and saying, this program is really interesting to me, but maybe I don't meet the exact criteria, but I have other things in my portfolio or my CV or my resume that would help. I would absolutely say that you should, if you find a program and you think it's interesting, then absolutely connect with the people, the individuals on the program, the recruiting individuals, or whomever is sort of responsible for the program, to be able to answer questions, to sort of get those program specific maybe tips and hints, or just sort of to get some more information.
Is there anything you would like to add?
I think, well, not I think, I know it's never too late to go to school, to go back to school, to challenge yourself, to be willing to try something, different. And I think lifelong learning is very important. And the fact that I'm able to partake in that experience through an institution such as Oxford is just, it's indescribable how valuable it is. And I really think that there's something to be said for being willing to sort of seek out those opportunities and to sort of say, okay, yeah, I can make this work with my life. And yeah, there's challenges, and yes, there's difficulties in scheduling and life and work and family and whatnot, but it's possible to make it work. And as long as you've, people to support you, or you have a workplace that's willing to kind of maybe work with you on that, or you can kind of figure out ways to make it work on your off time, then it's possible. And there's just lifelong learning is so valuable.